So before I start this video, I just want to say that I have nothing against Leicester City. I actually quite admire what they've done. You know, they really upset the order. They broke the top six. They broke the Premier League as it was all those years ago by winning the Premier League, the most improbable of Premier League wins ever. I love it, and even as a Sheffield United fan, I really like Jamie Vardy. I just absolutely love what he does. He's a wind-up merchant. He's just, I can't say the word on here, but he loves a bit of housery, as Peter Crouch would say, before the watershed. So, you know, I love him. I really do like him for what they do. But when the news came that they were, you know, in potential breach of PSR and everything, and by the amount they were in breach of, I genuinely thought, and I've said it on this show many times, I said that they're probably going to get a massive points deduction, 20 points, maybe 15 points. Then there were very strong rumours at the start of this season that they were going to get maybe a 6-point deduction. I'm thinking, that seems a bit low, you know, I want to hear the reasoning for that if that's the case. Now though, they have won their appeal against the PSR breach. I know. So they got found guilty of it before the season started. I think it was around June time, something like that. I did a video at the time, again, for footballchronicle.com. But since then, they've appealed and they've won their appeal. So let's have a look at this full article over on the BBC Sport. Do check it out. This one actually has a lot of paragraphs. Well done, lads. I mean, I've been reading from some BBC articles recently, and they've been like 2 paragraphs. It's like, come on, guys, step it up. Do better. But yeah, so an independent panel found that the Premier League did not have the jurisdiction to punish the Foxes as a club that had been relegated to the EFL Championship when their accounting period ended on the 30th of June 2023. So that is basically just before the start of last season. So they were relegated from the Premier League in 2023, went down to the Championship, spent a year there, won the league, come back up. So this period that they're talking about here, that one that ended, was their final one in the Premier League. So the Premier League said it was surprised and disappointed by the panel's decision, as am I. I'm surprised. Leicester said that it had simply sought to ensure that the rules are applied based on how they're actually written. Okay. The Foxes were charged by the Premier League for breaching spending rules. They appealed against this charge, but an independent commission then ruled the league could take action. Leicester then appealed the decision based on the fact they were in the EFL at the time and the charge was issued there, and the outcome was announced on Tuesday. Under PSR rules, clubs cannot lose more than £105 over a 3-season period. The Premier League charges related to a 3-year period to the end of 22-23, when they were in the Premier League the entire time before that. I'm struggling to understand this. But the team were relegated to the Championship at the end of that season, and the club only filed accounts after ceasing to be a member of the Premier League. Oh, there's an absolute technicality here. Leicester, you dirty dogs, you dirty foxes. Nottingham Forest and Everton both received points deduction last season after breaching PSR. In its ruling, the independent panel said that PSR rules are, in relevant parts, far from well drafted. So basically attacking the Premier League there. Reacting to the decision, the Premier League added, if the appeal board is correct, its decision will have created a situation where any club exceeding the PSR threshold could avoid accountability in these specific circumstances, i.e. they could get themselves relegated and avoid a points deduction. This is clearly not the intention of the rule. No, it's to entrench the top 7 clubs and make them rich and keep them there. That's the rule. That's why PSR is there. Allegedly. The panel upheld Leicester's appeal and said the Foxes were no longer a club governed by PSR rules when the calculation was carried out. It is not obvious why such a club should be subject to the disciplinary jurisdiction of the Premier League. Their decision read, Leicester were not in breach and should not be treated in breach of the rules. Oh my goodness me. Right, so for those that don't understand what I just said there, basically what it is that when this charge was brought, because Leicester were relegated in May 2023, when the Premier League did their charges for, when Leicester did their accounting for the 22-23 period and ended on the 30th of June, by then they were a club in the English Football League. They were not in the Premier League. Now, for those that don't know, again, the Premier League and the EFL are separate entities. It's not like most nations where like La Liga and the Segunda División are the same organisation, the Bundesliga and the Bundesliga 2 and Serie A and Serie B. They are not the same organisation, unlike most other football leagues. So when Leicester filed their accounting, which they were entitled to do at that time, they did nothing wrong there, at that time, they were a club in the Championship. So what I would then say to that is, one, they've absolutely fluked it. Two, they've been very clever with this. Very clever. Really intelligent to go around this with that argument. And three, if they get relegated again to the Championship, would the Championship not have to punish them? Because they have gone £230 million over the with a loss. So over £100 million loss over what the £105 million loss that was allowed was. So then if they get relegated to the Championship, do they not have to get punished? I know the Championship has PSR regulations. They're slightly different, but would they not have to get punished then? I'm going to have to do some research on that one. But my initial reaction to this is that they have absolutely got off with this with a loophole. They need to close that loophole, the Premier League, because Leicester have made an absolute mockery of them in their system. Which again, that's what Leicester do. They upset the order like in 2016 or whenever it was when they won the league. They're doing it again now. Jamie Vardy might well be having a part of that one, because that means that Leicester might well be able to survive this season. I back them to survive now. I had them to get relegated at the start of the season because of the points deduction, but I think they'll be fine now. I think they'll do all right. But there we go, guys. Leicester fans, celebrate this weekend. Your club is safe. You might well stay up this season. And for much more football news, analysis, and reaction to the crazy world of the beautiful game, keep it tuned right here to thefootballchronicle.com and let us know your opinion on this. Is this right? Are Leicester right to be able to get away with this? Because I love this legal stuff, love courtroom stuff.